Hello and welcome to my beauty routine. This is not going to be your conventional or expected morning routine for beauty or what products I use or anything like that. This is going to be the real, raw, unfiltered talk about how I keep myself beautiful, in shape. Everything that everyone's requested, I'm going to lay out here and be very raw and real about, because there's no magic product that you can use on yourself or that you can get done, cosmetically, that's going to really make you shine. It's not going to put you in your feminine energy. It's not going to really give you that, I guess it's sort of an it girl energy, that confidence. That's what we want to achieve. We don't want to put on a product one time or use something one time or have to go get paid to get something done for us to feel confident and look beautiful. So I'm gonna get into it here. I have no script, so this is just going to go where it's gonna go. So first of all, this is the first thing that I can think of, and the most important, most likely, unless I say another one's the most important, but this is the most important thing that you are going to need to pay attention to whenever you are doing your self-care and really focusing on that discipline. So what you consume, what you put inside of your body, I'm talking energetically, physically, with food, and what you hear. What kind of content you're consuming and what you eat are the two most important things for how you're going to look and how your energy is going to exude to other people, how you're going to feel confident, how you're going to be able to experience that pretty privileged energy. Any of that all starts with what you're consuming, because that dictates how you feel mentally and physically and also spiritually. So for me, the most important thing is, these are the top 3 foods that I eat for me that make me feel the best. If I don't have steak, I'm not at my 100%. So I have to have steak. I also have to have some form of carbs, whether that be rice or fruit, something like that. And third, I'm not gonna give it a magic ingredient, but I'm gonna put this as like, if I'm not consuming these things, I feel amazing. So anything that's processed food, any gluten, any sugar, or seed oils. Those are the top 4 things. If I avoid those, I feel amazing and I can show up at my 100% and I look better, because all of that, I'm typically prone, or I was whenever I was younger, I was prone to acne. And so for me, any sort of inflammation that goes on inside of my body is going to show up on my skin. I've tried everything, trust me. I did want to say too that all of these opinions on, I guess, beauty and looks and the sort of energy that we're exuding, I'm not saying these things to be like, oh, look, I'm super trustworthy or certified in this. No, I just want you to know where I'm coming from and where I've gathered all of this from and where my experience background is. But I worked in a dermatology clinic for about 3.5 years. And then I also studied nutrition for 2.5, 3 years. I ended up changing my major before graduating, but that's the bulk of the science that I studied. And also, I've just been someone who's been working out and really into being my best self for, even through high school, but like really intensely for the past 3 or 4 years. So this is where all of my experience is coming from. But yeah, so if my opinions are biased in those ways, as I'm sure they will be, this is just what's helped me. So back into the beauty stuff. Whenever you're consuming content that is not uplifting your energy, you can tell by the energy that you're putting back into the world. I mean, that's a lot of what my other content is about, but it's true. If you've been doing your inner work, if you have been journaling and meditating or praying, having some sort of spiritual practice, and you also don't surround yourself with people who are speaking negativity into you, who are constantly crossing your boundaries, keeping you in this fight or flight state where your cortisol is constantly going. Whenever you are self-integral to yourself, this all shows through physically, 100%. You cannot feel confident in yourself when you don't trust yourself. You can't feel confident whenever you are not setting boundaries. You can't feel confident whenever you're not meditating and having a connection with the divine, with God. You can't feel confident. And so I guess we're going to get into pretty privileged energy in this video, but that's really what it comes down to. That's what people want whenever they're like, what's your routine? Like, what's your beauty routine? Oh my gosh, please show me how you do your makeup. No, it's not about how I do my makeup. It's about everything. Everything comes together and everything is important. And I'm not even exaggerating when I say that. Every single part of my day contributes the next day to how I feel. If I'm feeling like, did I lie to myself the day before? Did I know that I'm not gonna feel good if I eat this processed food, but I ate it anyway, so now today I have to suffer? Did I skip a workout yesterday and then I wasn't self-integral to myself and so I don't feel confident because I don't trust myself? Yeah, that's gonna happen the next day. You may not see these things immediately. You may not see these results immediately happen like that, but over time they build up. And that's really what's important, is the underlying spiritual, mental, physical health. And so all of it's intertwined too. So this is how you like radiate beauty, no matter if you have makeup on, no matter if you don't, no matter if, even if you're, I mean, I am definitely one to say, if you dress good, you feel good, 100%. Other people, if you want to be perceived a certain way in society or in a certain situation, you will be perceived a certain way by people for how you look, how you show up with your energy. That's just a fact. Now we can try to argue it and say, well, it shouldn't be that way. Really? I was actually thinking about this in the car. I had like a huge download whenever I was driving the other day. And I thought to myself, like, isn't it kind of cruel that, I don't actually think this, but this is just my original thought. Isn't it kind of cruel how we have to love ourselves first? Now, my definition of self-love is probably different than what you're like normally hearing, but just go with me for now. Isn't it kind of cruel that we have to love ourselves first before we're fully able to receive love from someone else, before we are either able to receive it or attract someone who can actually love us in a healthy way? Like, isn't that kind of effed up? And then I thought to myself, no, it's really not, because if you think about the, let's say the psychology, the science of things, the spirituality behind everything, if you really think about it, why should people who are doing less work on themselves and taking less accountability and responsibility be rewarded just as much as someone who is really putting in the inner work, like really taking accountability for their life? It doesn't work like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if someone has been working out for 6 months and someone else hasn't been, the person who's been putting in the work absolutely deserves it more than the person who hasn't been. But I want to say, then I thought, okay, but we're all worthy. Yes, we're all worthy. Of course, this video would turn into this sort of talk, but stay with me. I promise you this all has to do with, this all has to do with self-care. And so it's like, well, yeah, we're all inherently worthy. Like, we're all inherently worthy of making $1 million. We're all inherently worthy of experiencing the lifestyle that we want to. We are all inherently worthy of having the relationship that we desire. We're all worthy of it. No one is less than or more worthy than someone else. No, they're not. Everyone is equally worthy. But the thing is like, the person who puts in the work and does the actions and puts in the inner work to change their beliefs to be able to receive $1 million is the person who's going to get it. And that's just, for some reason, my brain goes to, this is natural selection in a sense. Like, if you don't think about it physically, okay, we're just getting deep here. Whenever we are doing our inner work and activating these positive thoughts about ourselves and not crossing our boundaries, setting these boundaries that people literally can't cross. It's not that you have to ask them not to, you just aren't there for it. You are activating in your genes different DNA that replicates. Let me say that again, because I don't think I said that well. Think about it in the state of your body. Whenever you're in a toxic relationship, whenever you are not healthy, you're not eating, you know, you're like eating fast food all the time. You're just eating stuff that doesn't make you feel good. You haven't been working out. You're neglecting your inner work. All of that is a mess. The state inside of your body, like your blood work, the inflammation, that's what I think of the most. The cortisol, your mental health. Do you think that your body really replicates your DNA to rebuild itself in the same way in that state? Because that's messing with your hormones too. It just doesn't replicate the same way. So if we want to get really into it, when you have the inflammation under control, which inner work also helps with, like literally in your body, whenever you have your mental health in check because you've been doing your inner work and you have your spiritual connection, and in turn, you're also taking care of yourself because you're not too depressed or anxious to go to the gym and make your own food. Well, your body, you're a completely different person. You're at a completely different state, and your body is repairing itself in a different way. Instead of fighting the inflammation in your gut or in your body from all the excess cortisol, or actually cortisol does help with the inflammation. But what I'm trying to say is like all the excess inflammation in your body, whenever it's not fighting itself, it's there to heal itself. And when you're in that energy, like your life is your beauty routine. There's nothing comparable to that. And I also want to say, look, I love shopping, okay? If y'all follow me, like y'all know this. We're a material girl. And they're like to me. I'm, a material girl. We love it. But I will say, the cosmetic industry? I honestly am not super into like buying a bunch of products, like cosmetic products. So I don't know what it's called, but the cosmetic industry, let's say. I believe that they have women fooled, where they think that, we can just put on a different shade of makeup, or let's go into like the creams, right? Like, oh, well, you need to go, I told you I work at a dermatologist for 3.5 years. So please listen to what I have to say. Whenever you go to the dermatologist, I'm actually going to compare this with all the cosmetic products too. So say a doctor writes you a prescription, but in reality, the prescription is really just, oops, I think I bumped my mic. The prescription is really just a Band-Aid solution, because there is some underlying issue that the prescription does not heal. It just heals the symptoms of the root cause. You see what I'm saying? Or treats them for a while unless you stop taking the medication. So then you're dependent on this medication, which also has side effects that makes you have to take other medications. And then you're hooked, that whole route. I'm not going to go into it. Well, what if you could just heal the root cause? Right? Like you would think. But that's not Western medicine. On the other hand, the cosmetic industry makes you believe that you need to go buy all of these moisturizers and acne creams and all this stuff for a beauty routine. When in reality, if you changed your diet, went out in the sun, and exercised, you would have healthier hair, skin, nails, health in general, and then you wouldn't need any of it. I literally have like one moisturizer. If y'all are really here for like the things that I use product-wise, I only use Chanel makeup. And for my hair, I use like rice water, and then I use some random shampoo that I bought from my hairdresser, and a hair mask from Amika, I think is the name. So I just feel like it's better to be minimal with your products, and I don't want to say excessive with the self-care, because to me, that's like the bare minimum. It's really the bare minimum for me to be eating correctly and working out and practicing my spirituality. That's really the bare minimum. How can you live life happily and in your pretty energy and be a divine feminine being, or masculine? I mean, this goes for men too. But really for the feminine, you cannot be in it if you don't prioritize yourself in these ways. Because if it's going to put your body, and this is in my Feminine Foundations course, so if y'all want like a super in-depth into this, definitely go get that course. If you Okay, I'm gonna go another direction in this too. So think about if you see someone who dresses, I know that we're all high maintenance queens here, okay? So y'all are gonna know what I mean. Some other people may not know. If this is the first video you're watching of mine, just stay along for the ride. So if you see someone get out of their car and their car is a mess, like they have like fast food wrappers in it, they have a bunch of clothes in the back. Honestly, I used to have a messy car. I gotta call myself out, but you're gonna see why in a second. So, you know, and then they get out and their hair hasn't been brushed. They're wearing like super sloppy clothes. It's obviously not that they're wearing that because that's what makes them happy. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, yeah, I love sweat sometimes, but there are times where I'm wearing it because I'm depressed, and there are times that I'm wearing it because I'm like, yeah, this seems comfy AF, right? So you see that person get out of their car. What, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you think they value themselves or their energy? To me, it's like that is a complete symptom. That's like seeing someone coughing and sneezing and assuming that they have a cold. Like me seeing that is assuming that this person's not valuing themselves. Because when I didn't value myself, my room was messy, my car was messy, I didn't have the best self-care, I guess, routine. You know, I've always been into like looking cute and whatnot, but it wasn't really about making sure I had a healthy lifestyle. It was more about the products and how could I cover it up and stuff like that. So just know that like if you look around and you see that you are having a hard time keeping up with your self-care, whether that be the cleanliness of your home, of your car, of yourself, of wanting to wake up every morning and actually get ready for the day. That doesn't mean full face of makeup every day for everyone, but that means, you know, brushing your teeth, brushing your hair, making you feel the best version of you every day. That's what I mean. I think everyone should be doing that. That's a no-brainer. And yeah, that doesn't mean a full face of makeup for everyone. Maybe for some people that means putting on a cute Lulu set and pulling their hair back and they feel bomb. Well, that energy is going to be a lot different. And then once you're in this energy and this mindset of, yeah, I value myself and I'm going to show up like this every day, because what you think is how you show up. Like what you believe, the actions come from that. The actions come from your identity. So if your identity is one of someone who does have that messy car and doesn't brush their hair and just walks out of it, I'm going to assume you're a really stressed out person who has no masculine container and like no control over their life. And let's be honest, like don't be surprised whenever you are treated that way. Whenever you go to the store and you have those interactions with someone who's checking out your groceries, or you have interactions with other people in public, or you have interactions with your friends. What kind of friends are you attracting in your life? Okay, we could go down a whole rabbit hole there, but like, this is why this all matters. Have a high value lifestyle and you will have high value looks. I think that that word's funny. I don't know why. High value is like such a funny word to me because people have attached so many interesting meanings to that. So just let's say high quality. Have a high quality lifestyle and you will have a high quality appearance, high quality health, high quality experiences. It all is all intertwined. It really is. So like I said, this is raw, unedited. I'm just uploading this because I realize I can upload to YouTube more, or I will upload to YouTube more because I don't like editing. And I like my videos to be sit down and talk because that's the kind that I like watching. And I think there are specific groups of people or types of people who will sit down and watch a long YouTube video, who will sit down and want to absorb everything that someone says whenever they recognize that someone is showing up with, you know, this is everything I've learned in the past few years. And so I want to share this with y'all. But there's a lot of people who, most of people, you know, like 95% of people will just get bored. They haven't made it. This is what, 20 minutes in almost. And they wouldn't have made it past 1 minute and 30 seconds. I see the average that people watch on the videos. It's kind of sad. But I'm just saying, like, the people who've made it this far, like, y'all are my tribe. Y'all are going places in life because you do not have this goldfish brain that looks for instant gratification and these little dopamine hits in hyper edited YouTube videos. So I'm serious. You are already in the top, like, 1% of people with your mindset and attention span if you have made it this far. So I appreciate it. Leave a comment down below if you want to. I don't like asking for those, but like if you made it this far, it's pretty cool, and I just want to see who you are. So I appreciate you. I know that this was not the typical beauty routine video, but I think it's the real that needs to be said. And people don't realize, I don't want to say it's hard work to maintain, you know, whatever you feel best as, like maintain your good looks, like how you feel best. I don't want to say it's hard work, but it is a commitment. Because, you know, with our feminine, we don't want to, it doesn't need to be this masculine check off to-do list routine that we do. But if you create a masculine container around your health and around your self-care, and you have times of the day where it's actually scheduled into your day instead of being like, oh, tonight I'll take the night off and do self-care. No, bitch, it should already be in your routine. Like, there's no taking the night off to do it. If that's what you want to do with your whole night, go for it. But I'm just saying, like, it should already be in there. This is not negotiable. You don't cancel your self-care plans to go do things otherwise too. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it is non-negotiable. You have to make that commitment to yourself. Otherwise, you're never going to make change, and you're never going to feel and really look the best you want to. You're really not. Like, that's just the hard truth of that. So hopefully that was helpful. Coming here as your big or little sister advice, I guess. So little sister advice. I don't know if that's a thing, but I think people assume I'm a lot older than I am because I just have spent like the past few years honing in on my inner work and investing in myself in those areas and being absolutely non-negotiable about I'm leveling the F up in my life and nothing's gonna stop me. So I went at it ruthless, and now I feel like I have a master's degree in inner work and feminine energy. So yeah, that's pretty cool. But I hope you'll have an amazing rest of your day. I have a coaching call now, so I'm gonna go ahead and get off, but I will see y'all in the next video. Let me know if you enjoy these more sit down and talk sort of videos. All right, bye.